My name is Chao, Taiyana. I am the founder of African Digital Heritage. We are a non-profit based here in Nairobi, focusing on digital technologies and digital solutions for African heritage. Our approach is a holistic one, so we don't just focus on the technology, we also focus on exploring things like access, dissemination, archiving, and what happens when, after, and in the process of digitization. Our main focus areas are digitization, innovation around heritage, so looking at things like applications, virtual reality, virtual experiences, visualizations. We also do a lot of research, particularly to strengthen the field of African digital heritage and the ways in which African heritage is represented online. And finally, we do a lot of training as well and capacity building with museums, communities, libraries. And it's a pleasure to really be here. Digitization is, for me, a primary form of decolonization, and I say this because I believe that the work of technology is not just about futures, about building futures. It's also about strengthening pasts, strengthening identities, and in this way how we can radically reimagine, reframe, talk about history and culture in a very different way. When we speak about the ways in which African heritage has been represented, the ways in which it has been narrated, the ways in which it has been kept, even physically, we are looking at a very, a system that works to disenfranchise African people from their cultural past, whether it's through the kind of narratives and biases and racism that we encounter even when we look at our history, or even the ways in which museums are framed today, in which objects are kept away from people and taken from people, looted, migrated, etc. And so technology being a way to, one, create access to culture and to artifacts and archives that people don't normally have access to physically. But it's also not just about access, it's also, I believe, it's also about the ways in which this access can enhance other activities. So the freedom to, for example, use archives in a film, to deconstruct, to challenge, to reinterpret archives. Access is just the beginning. I think the true form of decolonization is what people do when they have access to this material. And so the job for us as cultural practitioners is not just to digitize things en masse and say they're online. It's about inviting audiences and asking people to share their feedback, to question the material, to reimagine it, and so decolonization is central, very much so, to technology, but also to the space of technology and culture as well. The biggest importance of digitization is the fact that people can access material. And I say access in the sense that we are producing a lot of knowledge online and we're also storing it online. Yeah. So whereas before you would have to go to the library, your first point of contact, for a query, for a question, for research, now our first point of contact, our first point of research is digital spaces. And what does it mean when we assume that everything is online, but actually it's not? There's this idea that if something is not on the internet, then they don't exist. So if you Google someone and they're not on the internet, it's like, do they really exist? And it's the same thing also, I believe, with the culture and the history that we are trying to really say we existed, we still exist, and we want to have a way in which audiences, in which children, in which people at different levels of education or arts and who want to access this material can find it. And so the memories that we are creating, we are saying that they're not just things that we hold for ourselves, but we hold in trust for other people as well. And if the internet has become the central knowledge creation and production space, then we also need to be exploring how our memories and our culture exist in this space rightfully so. Yeah.